tired, old, worn-out old donkey back to pasture. And so we were very aggressive very early on in 2021 when no one was even talking about this. We banned vaccine passports in the state of Florida. We're not going to let people force you to cough up your medical records just to go get a cheeseburger somewhere. You're not going to be marginalized from society because you declined to take an mRNA shot. And we were the strongest in the country on that. And then we also fought back against the Biden mandates on employees, but also some of the private mandates in big corporations that were trying to do it. And we called a special session of the legislature. We provided protections for Floridians, and our policy and law is very simple. No Floridian should have to choose between a job they need and a shot they do not want. They wanted to fire police officers, nurses, firefighters, and these are people that were on the front lines working during COVID. Many of them had recovered from COVID with prior infection, which the CDC tried to act like does not confer immunity or protection from future, which was wrong, and we knew that it did. And so they were taking these people who had been working, they were held up as heroes for 18 months, and then all of a sudden they wanted to toss them aside. And they wanted them to lose their jobs. And why would they do that? The reason they were doing that was because they want to exercise power over you. These mandates are not based in medical science. They are simply a tool to engineer your compliance. And in Florida, we said, not on our watch, not here. That is unacceptable. But what will happen is you're going to have states and school districts that are going to use what the CDC did as a pretext to impose mandates for COVID vax on school children. And I can tell you that because you have me, you don't have to worry about this. Legislation through the legislature banning any COVID vax mandates for school children. In Florida, we're fortunate to have a very strong Surgeon General by the name of Joseph Ladapo. This whole thing has huge conflicts of interest throughout. The FDA basically is a subsidiary of Pfizer at this point, and that's not something that you should have to genuflect to. And so what Joe has said is we're going to follow the evidence, we're going to follow the data. So Florida was the first state. We may still be the only state, but we're definitely the first to tell the Floridians that it's the recommendation of the Florida Surgeon General that you do not do COVID shots on healthy kids. And you can do it. You can do what you want. I mean, it's a free state. But we just got to be honest about this. These are kids that are at very low risk. There's not been a proven benefit. So why would you possibly think about mandating this? We're not going to do that. And so we've been right on that, and we'll continue to lead. But make no mistake about it. If I was not holding down the fort for the state of Florida, they will absolutely try to mandate this on your kids. That will happen as soon as the election's over. You're going to see it in other parts of the country. In fact, they're now writing articles in these legacy media publications saying it's time to put masks back on. They're actually saying this. And you know what's going to happen in like the Northeast. They're going to have more respiratory infections over the winter because it's a seasonal thing. And they're going to try to mask school children again. Well, we ban that in the state of Florida. You don't mask school children against their will. 90 terrorists, suspected terrorists in the last fiscal year interdicted at the southern border. That's just the people we know. And you know there's millions that we don't know about across the board. And so we have a situation where the elites in our country don't care that 5 million people are coming across illegally. They don't care that the fentanyl is ravaging communities throughout this country. They don't care about the criminal aliens that have been able to come across, and they don't care about the Americans who have been victimized by people that have come across. They only care if you send illegal aliens to D.C., New York, or Martha's Vineyard. So we've got to work hard. We got to get the vote out. But if we do, I think we'll have one of the strongest election victories on record. I think we will sweep in, not just me, but I think we will win races for U.S. Congress. I'll have supermajorities in the state legislature, even more good school board members. We've already done a lot on the school boards. And I really believe that the red wave starts in the state of Florida. We will kick it off. We will get it done. And with your help, we will keep the state of Florida free. Thank you, guys. God bless you.